Today, I will show you how to go from doing this damage to this damage. And it only requires 3 easy steps: Flame, Golden Vow, and your Flask. You can do this before every boss fight to upwards of 220% more damage. We will have 2 builds, one for early game and new player friendly, and one for mid to late game for veterans that want to crank their damage with ease. Let us get to it. Today, we are diving into one of the most powerful and unique weapons in Elden Ring, the Blasphemous Blade. This great sword not only dishes out incredible damage, but it also provides some amazing healing benefits. To get your hands on the Blasphemous Blade, you need to defeat Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy, and trade his remembrance with Inya at the Round Table Hold. This means that this beast is accessible as soon as you get to Volcano Manor, and that area can be accessed early game. Not only that, but Rykard is a gimmick boss, meaning you can kill him very easily at an early game, making it easily obtainable. The Blasphemous Blade scales primarily with Strength, Dex, and Faith, dealing additional fire damage. It restores 4% of your health, plus 40 HP every time you defeat an enemy. But that is bait. We do not care about none of that. We only care about its Ash of War, Taker's Flame. This skill is a game changer. It heals 10% of your max HP, plus 150 flat on hit. Not on kill, on hit. This means you're constantly healing as you fight, making it incredibly effective in boss battles. This skill costs 30 FP, which allows you to use it 7 times with 30 mind before needing to refill. It might seem expensive, but the damage and healing are worth it. Taker's Flame deals pure fire damage and scales only with Faith. You know what that means? Speccing into Split, Dex, Strength, and Faith is bait. You should pump only Faith for maximum damage. This skill travels a great distance, allowing for safe gameplay. What else could you ask for? This weapon is amazing. Oh wait, we're not done. This skill has great hyper armor, meaning you're unlikely to be interrupted while casting it. Even if you are, you will heal from the hit. The Blasphemous Blade was already fantastic before the DLC, but with the DLC, it gotten even better thanks to the new Talisman of the Dread, which boosts the skill by 15%, and the Blood-Sucking tier, which increases damage by 20%. And both of these stack, hence the build and the video. With all of that into consideration, we will make 2 builds. One for early game, accessible as soon as you get to Mount Gelmir, Volcano Manor, and one for mid to late game, accessible as soon as you get to the DLC. For the first armor for the early game build, use the Royal Remains set. It slowly heals you 8% HP per second when HP is reduced. It is found in the Round Table Hold after defeating the invasion of Ensha. The Blasphemous Blade, the start of the show, it uses Somber Smithing Stones, so max it out to whatever level you can. Since they're Somber Smithing Stones, you can easily level it up early game, so it's not gonna be a problem. For the Finger Seal, buy it from the Twin Maidens, accessible as soon as you gain access to the Round Table Hold. For the talismans, first the Warrior Jar Shard, it boosts the attack power of skills by 10%. It drops from Alexander when you defeat him without completing his quest. Personally, I could never do it, but you do you. Second, the 2-finger heirloom, which raises faith by 5, can be found in the purified ruins of Southeast Liurnia. Third, the Fire Scorpion charm, which increases fire damage by 12%, found in Fort Live within Mount Gelmir. And fourth, the Carrion Filigreed Crest, which lowers FP cost of skills by 25%. It is purchased from EG as a part of Blythe's questline. For the spells, we will use Golden Vow, which increases damage by 15%, found in Corpse Stench Shack in Mount Gelmir, and Flame Grant Me Strength, which increases fire damage by 20%. It is found behind the Fort Gale. For the physique, we will use the Flame Shrouding Crack tier, 20% to fire attacks for 3 minutes, dropped by the Earthly Avatar in K-Lit, and the Crimson Burst Crystal tier, which heals you 7 HP per second for 3 minutes. It is found here, but feel free to change to something else since it's not really necessary. For the Great Rune, I would recommend Radahn's since it increases HP, stamina, and FP by 15%, all of which are important to the build. Finally, spec to 40 Vigor, 25 Mind, 20 Endurance, 22 Strength, 15 Dex, and 35 Fate. This build together is tanky, so you can get through the early game very easy. It has a lot of passive healing for exploration and boss fights. It has really decent damage and it is very safe. You can spam the skill from distance. It also chunks, like do not underestimate it. Even though it's an early game build, it really chunks and it will only get better as you progress throughout the game. For the second build, I recommend using the Rakshasa set. It boosts all damage by 8%. Dropped by Rakshasa in the Eastern Nameless Mausoleum. It is a really cool set to use. The Blasphemous Blade, crank it out to the max, plus 10. Worth the investment, it's very good. The Finger Seal, we already said, it is obtainable from the Twain Maiden, very easy. For the talismans of the second build, use Shard of Alexander. It greatly boosts the attack power of skills by 15%. It requires you to complete Alexander's quest, which is a better outcome for Alexander's quest and a better talisman, so it is a no-brainer. I hope you do this one instead of the other one. The Fire Scorpion Charm, which will increase your fire damage by 12%. It is an easy decision. Do not worry about the side effect of it, just don't worry about it. It is found in the Fort Lithe within Mount Gelmir. Use the Talisman of the Dread, which increases the potency of magma by 14%. It is one of the new talismans, so you'll find it within the DLC. It can be found on a corpse inside Elder's Hovel. And the fourth talisman, just like the first build, will go for the Carrion Filigree Crest, which lowers FP cost of skills by 25%. It is purchased from EG as a part of Blight's questline. Feel free to replace this one if you have any better ideas to either survive more or crank up the damage. For the spells, we will use Golden Vow as well. It is a no-brainer, 15 damage bonus, and Flame grant me strength, 20% fire damage bonus. Both of them are no-brainers for either build. For the physic, we will go for the Flame Shrouding Crack tier, 20% to fire attacks for 3 minutes, dropped by the Earthly Avatar in Kaelin, and the Blood Sucking tier, which increases damage by 20% for 3 minutes. Defeat the Furnace Golem, found right here to obtain it. For the Great Rune, I would recommend Morgoth's since it increases health by 25%. That will affect the amount of health you gain back on hits. That will affect your tankiness so you can tank more hits. It will also help you so you don't have to worry about the Blood-Sucking tier taking down your health. It's gonna be a big health bar. It's gonna be way more forgiving. Spec to 60 Vigor, 35 Mind, 25 Endurance, 22 Strength, 15 Dexterity, and 70 Faith. This build just melts everything. The passive healing is insane. It is new player friendly. It is just an overall great package. The Blasphemous Blade is an absolute powerhouse at Elden Ring, offering a perfect blend of damage and survivability. Whether you're just starting out or diving into the DLC, this weapon will serve you well. Let me know in the comments if you've tried it and what your experience has been. If you want to see the new best bonk build in the game, check this video out.